Hello everybody, it is your friendly fishmonger, Dan from dansfish.com, and today we're going to talk about a beautiful rainbow fish, Melanotaenia trifasciata. This is one of the most variable rainbow fish that there are. They come from lots and lots of locations, and they're big, they're beautiful, they're peaceful, and like most rainbow fish, they're really hardy. So let's look at some and I'll tell you all about them. All right. So here they are, folks. A beautiful rainbow fish, Melanotaenia trifasciata. If you look at Adrian Tippin's book, you'll see there's so many different variants of these. Each location has its own color palette, a lot like killifish, and they come in many different colorations. Anything from like a steel blue to grayish to a strong central band with bright red anal and dorsal fins. It just depends on the location they're coming from. Something interesting about this fish is called trifasciata, or trifasciata. I'm not quite sure. My Latin is non-existent, but I know what it means. It means three-banded. And the reason for that is back when these were first collected, way over 100 years ago, I believe. They were described from specimens that had been kept in alcohol or some kind of preservative. They call it spirits, which I assume means alcohol, maybe formaldehyde or what have you. But anyway, when they were preserved like that, when that happens, the color changes quite a bit. They fade quite a bit. But something that the person describing the fish noticed in those conditions was it looked like three bands across the body. In reality, most trifasciata that I've seen, and pictures I've seen, there's one broad band kind of across the center of the body, from the eye down the center of the body to the tail. So maybe unifasciata would be a more apt scientific name, but that's how they got the name three-banded, even though they really don't, not when they're alive anyway. But they're beautiful fish when they're alive. Like most rainbow fish, they are generalists. They're from the genus Melanotaenia, and most of the Melanotaenia are adapted to many different environments. Basically, over time, they've had to adapt to lots of different niches, and so they're very hardy. When you have a generalist like that, what that means is they can take lots of different conditions and thrive in lots of different environments and on even some different food sources. And that makes them an ideal aquarium fish because it means they're tough as nails. Melanotaenia really are one of the toughest, I've found, hardiest aquarium fish out there, including these trifasciata. Now, if you look at this video, you will notice there's a little bit of ammonia burn, especially on the pectoral fins. That's because I took this video, just a little while after they were first imported. So they're still recovering from shipping here. The good news is, out of all the ones I had, I only lost one, and all the rest have been doing well for a few months now. So they're a hardy fish, they're beautiful, but I do want to bring your attention to that in case you're looking and being like, hey, why are the pectoral fins a little white? And you can see it on the caudal fins a little bit too, and some of them have it on some of the other fins. But that was a little bit of ammonia burn that is left over from when they were first shipped in. That's been cleared up for a long time now, but just in case you're wondering. The other thing I want to talk about is how they do come from very specific locations. As far as I know, this species only comes from Australia. I don't think it's in Papua New Guinea. I think it's only from Australia. There might be an a rainbow fish geek out there that can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but from the reading I've done, that's all. So that means that the stock that we have in the aquarium trade in the United States comes from before there was a ban on exporting rainbow fish. I don't think anyone's smuggled these out recently or anything like that. So they've been around a long time. It also means we're very unlikely to have a lot of pure strains of this species in the hobby because we just can't export them. Australia has a very strict ban on exporting livestock and on importing livestock as well. I mean, they import some, but it's pretty strict. That being said, they've been in the hobby a long time. They've been farmed for a long time, so no one knows exactly which location this is. In fact, we're not even quite sure, the fish you're looking at, if they are pure trifasciata, or if at some point, as often happens in fish that have been farmed for a long time, if there perhaps is some hybridization. I don't know that. I don't know if anyone knows that. Just because they've been in the hobby, I'm going to guess since the 70s, since before the ban on exporting wildlife was put into place. Now, someone could correct me on that too, but the point is, the trifasciata in the hobby that you're going to find most places are probably without location, and probably you're going to see some hybridization in them. At least it would be hard to prove that it hasn't happened. Now, I know that there's a Goiter River strain out there and a few other strains, but just keep that in mind as you're purchasing your rainbow fish. If you get them from me, this is what they are. They're beautiful, they're hardy, they're awesome. I don't know the location, and I don't know if there's been any hybridization in them. Unless you get them from someone like Gary Lang or someone real close to him, or a few other people, then that's probably going to be your reality as well. But anyway, no matter what they are, they're a beautiful fish. Like most rainbow fish, they're very active, and they're not aggressive, but being active, they will beat other fish to the food. So you have to be a little careful. You don't want to keep them with really slow-moving fish because they'll get out-competed when it comes to feeding time. So just bear that in mind if rainbow fish are something you want to get. The only other caveat with keeping them, I think, at least with other fish, is anything with really long flowing fins. Say you have like a veil-tailed guppy, or maybe even a betta, something like that with long wavy fins. I would be a little concerned that the rainbow fish might see that and be like, hey, that looks like food fluttering around, and go and nip at those fins. But barring that, they're very peaceful. They're quick, but they're not aggressive. Now, they are fast swimmers, so they need a long tank. I wouldn't keep a group of these in anything less than a 4-foot long footprint, just so they can get their momentum going. And you'll often find when you first get them, you'll see a little white on the mouth, and that's just because they swim so fast that if the tank is too small, they can get a little damage. And also when they're first put into a new tank, they can zip around and kind of bonk against the glass, and so they can get a little damage. So you just have to keep the water really clean so that that doesn't get infected or anything like that. They eat everything, really everything that they can fit in their mouth. Floating, pellets, frozen, you name it. They're very easy to breed in spawning mops. The eggs are water incubated. They hatch after, about a week, maybe a little over. And the fry are tiny. So dry powders are what work best, unless you have like rotifers or paramecium, things like that. But they're a beautiful fish, really. When they flash, the males from the nose up to the dorsal fin, they get this bright glowing flash when they're displaying. It's awesome. Beautiful fish, and I think they're awesome. All right, I hope you liked that review, if you will, of Melanotaenia trifasciata, beautiful rainbow fish species. Great fish to have in an aquarium. The only thing about them is they're pretty quick, so if you have slow-moving little fish or anything with really long flowing fins that might get nipped, then they might not be right. But for almost every situation, they're a fantastic fish to have. Anyway, thanks for joining in. Till next time, have a good one.